So Valve announced the Steam Machine price to much fanfare today. So let's get into it. Okay, so the Steam Machine is the base model is launching at $1,049. Wow. And that's just for 512 gigs, 16 gigabytes of RAM. Yeah, unfortunately, Valve intended the Steam Machine to release at, I think they were saying 750. So just in the span of a year, this thing went up so much money, and it really sucks because $700, 750 was such a sweet spot. It competed with consoles, but it gave you the flexibility of a computer and the power, and maybe not raw graphics power of a PlayStation Pro, but you had flexibility, right? You can use it as a computer, a workstation, you can use it as a desktop at your desk, you can use it as a living room a video game console, but now you kind of lose that with the price increase. I get why people are upset about this. This sucks, right? It priced out the console gamers that wanted another console. But I think with the Steam Machine now, even at this price, what you're still getting is you're getting a small form factor, custom built Valve PC. So if you are primarily a console gamer and you wanted a computer that specializes in playing games, but also you can do other things on it. You have a nice desktop that you can run any program you want on Linux. That's what you get with this. And also when you play games on this, you're not forced to play paying a subscription like PlayStation Plus to play games online. You get it for free. You're not locked into a walled garden. You're not locked into any ecosystem. Yeah, you have the Steam ecosystem, but I would argue you get more for your dollar with Steam. You get those all those great sales, and you're still not technically locked into Steam, right? You can, if you really want, you can get an Epic's game launcher, or which would be a little bit better, you can always get GOG because they don't have any DRM, so you're not technically locked into anything. So there were some benchmarks that have been coming through. Linus Tech Tips and Digital Foundry have come out, and apparently the it's barely competing with the PlayStation 5, which really sucks. I have a 3080 with 32 gigs of RAM, and I'm probably still going to main game with that. That's going to still be my machine. I'm going to hold on to that probably for the next couple years still. It's still going strong. It runs Crimson Desert amazingly, like barely any lag. It still holds strong. And I'm running Crimson Desert with ultra graphics, I think. So yeah, this is unfortunate. It's still good for people that don't have a gaming PC. I think this is still a great entry point because I'm trying to find here. I thought I saved a tweet. I guess not. If you were to spec this out with comparable hardware and trying to build this yourself, you're still looking at around the same price point. You're still looking at $1,000 easy. So I'm seeing a lot of tweets where people are saying, "Oh, you can buy this way cheaper." You really can't. You might be able to buy some pre-builts for cheap, but that's because they were already made, or they already have an agreement with some of these hardware vendors. You're not going to get a compact, small form factor that you get in the Steam machine for that same price point. You're just not. So if you already are in need of a gaming PC and you're looking to get into the gaming PC market, then get a Steam machine. You'll get that nice form factor. It's custom built by Valve. You don't have to build it yourself. And then you get this incredible Steam OS that's custom made and custom designed to run games. But what's really cool is Valve is pretty much admitting that hardware is out of control. And so they're giving they're giving players the ability to make our own Steam machines. Starting with the SteamOS 3.8 release, you can actually just use whatever hardware you have laying around your house, build your own little Steam box or create whatever you want, throw SteamOS 3.8 on there, and now you have your own Steam machine. So Steam is more concerned with just getting SteamOS into every gaming house in the world. The original plan was to build a nice, cheap gaming console to get into those living rooms, to get into the market, to get people locked into SteamOS, into the Steam ecosystem. But unfortunately, the AI boom and the memory shortage had other plans, and that really foiled Valve's plans here. But I think this is another backup plan. This is their fallback. Open source SteamOS and let people build their own Steam machines until until and yeah, until things get better. Yeah, this is Digital Foundries saying that it's struggling against PS5, which is disappointing. You never want to see that. This is a good tweet I wanted to mention. A pre-built is better. The Steam machine is the size of a tissue box, near silent, uses only 140 watts of power, will be easily repairable, isn't limited to SteamOS, and can never be rendered inoperable by a ban or a shutdown, and has far cheaper games through Steam, and it just works. So again, you're getting that freedom of Linux, the freedom of Steam. You're not locked into anything. You just do what you want. Since I already have a mainline gaming PC, I would have loved to have this as like a secondary computer or like a little thing to play on and play around with, but especially maybe for content. But this price point, it's getting pretty tough. I might want to save that cash and get a Steam frame instead. This person brings out a good point. These comparisons leave the part out where Steam Machine's running true 1440p versus PS5 performance mode. And I'm seeing also FSR 4s coming out, so maybe that'll boost the performance slightly. But yeah, that's the Steam Machine in a nutshell. Forgot what else I was gonna say about this. Oh, so I made a couple posts that I wanted to highlight here. Okay. So George Broussard, he said, begun the console wars have. And I replied, Valve's development on ARM x86 translation layers through FEX is setting them up for impressive hardware next gen. Getting this out the door is still a huge accomplishment despite fighting the memory shortage. It sets the stage for them to take on the PS6 and Helix years down the road. So, this is Valve's second time. This is Valve's second console. The first one flopped. This is obviously too soon to tell, but they definitely have an uphill battle with this price. And again, this is out of their control. It's the memory shortage. But Valve is really setting the stage for a triumphant generation after this. Whether they want to call it the Steam Machine 2 or the Valve Console Box 3, whatever they want to call it, their third console is most likely going to run on ARM. It's going to need a fraction of the power because of their development work on FEX. All of the x86 library will still work, and the new ARM-based games as well. ARM is the future. They're using ARM in the Steam frame, and the Steam frame is going to be is sort of like they're getting their foot in the door, seeing how ARM works for them. And I think the Steam Machine is going to be a cool little device. It's not going to get the mass appeal. It's not going to have the mass appeal the Steam Deck had, but I don't think they're going to give up after this console. I think this is setting the foundation for their third console, which will be ARM based. And that is what will give Valve the cost efficiency and the better value for Valve, so they'll make more money for each console. And they won't have to worry about breaking even. It'll cost less for them in the long run. So be on the lookout for that. Valve's laying the groundwork for a really big run with their next console. This console is a really good shot. It's a cool device, but it's got an uphill battle ahead of them with this price. But we'll see. What I'd love to see is maybe they drop the price in 2 years back down to 800. maybe I'm hoping the memory shortage is done by 2030, 2028, 2029. But who knows? Maybe by the end of 2029, Valve drops the price on this. And then they start selling more of them. And then they start planning their next console. But that's it from me. Let me know in the comments if you guys are going to pick up a Steam machine. I'm still on the fence about it. But yeah, that's it from me. Have a good night and thanks for watching. Bye.